All right, hi everyone. So I'm going to show you the emission spectrum lab. Before we do that, I wanted to show you the equipment we're going to be using. This is our power source. It's a really high voltage power source. We use these bulbs just like Bohr used. They have gas inside of these glass tubes. And we just put those tubes in here. And when we turn them on, it excites the electrons in there, in the atoms. And when they get excited, they don't stay that way for very long, but they're farther away from the nucleus. But they will fall back or return back to their original ground state. And when they do that, that's when they release light. And so when we turn on our source here, this one happens to be argon, so it's got the gas argon in there. When we turn it on, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a nice little purple color there. Let me show you a couple more just because they're kind of fun to look at. Let's do air. Air, of course, is a mixture of gases. So remember, air is mostly nitrogen, like 75 or so % nitrogen, and a few other things, obviously. But this is what nitrogen looks like. I'm sorry, air looks like. And actually, nitrogen's spectrum looks, or its color looks similar. You may have seen a similar kind of appearance if you've seen a photograph of lightning. You get those colors because lightning is basically electricity running through air, exciting the electrons in the molecules that make up the air. And I'll show you my favorite one before we do our hydrogen. This one is neon, and it's just so bright and so awesome. There's neon. Traditional, historically, neon signs had actual neon in them, and so that's what you see when you see neon. So let's look at hydrogen really quickly. So hydrogen actually looks a lot like argon. So there's hydrogen. So what I'm going to do with this lab is I'm going to take this piece of equipment right here. I'm going to turn this off for a minute while I talk. This is called a spectroscope, and a spectroscope has one end where there is a diffraction gradient, which is basically like a prism, but a flat prism on a piece of plastic. And then on the other end, there's a viewing piece, where you can look through. So I'm going to look through it. And when I look through it, I can see a scale in there. And the scale gives me numbers. It'll look 7, 6, 5, 4. And you're going to see a picture at the end of this video of what we can actually see when we look through here. And this scale gives me the wavelengths of the different bands of color that are being emitted from hydrogen. So when I look at it with the naked eye, I just see purple. But when I look through my spectroscope and I line things up, I am seeing a red band of color, a bluish green band of color, an indigo band of color, and then a violet band of color. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the picture of what's actually going on, what I'm seeing inside of here. And you can make your measurements and then do your lab.